moments like this, one does not have sufficient word to say. But when all is said and done, whatever you have had today, and the 4 hours we spent with the students and faculty, 4 hours, not one person standing up to go out the door. I believe it is indeed God's blessings and wisdom and grace. It is God. Many times I remember, I even did not say any protocols observed. All protocols observed. Because there are many wonderful people here I needed to recognize today. But where is Dr. Cindy? I always ask, people ask me, say, where is so-and-so? Is Dr. Cindy here with us today? I think I saw her, maybe she may have left. Dr. Cindy, about 3 weeks ago or so, she asked me to, you asked me to share an experience where I may, where I experienced God's miracles. And I want to say today that this is God's miracles in action. What is happening here today, it is truly God's miracles, and how God works in your life to hopefully give some way of encouraging other people to do the same and stop fighting. To build bridges and not to break bridges in life. To make other people's lives better and not to ask, when are you going to ever have yours done? It has taken 21 years for all of us to be here today. The same way, I don't know how long it took Professor Olive Mugenda and my other professor, Kobia, from all those years, it also took 2013 to have an evening like this, where all my mentees again recognized my input in them. But I never went to ask them, when are you going to recognize me? It just came naturally. I remember that ever since the faculty and staff heard that I have announced my retirement since February, they have met on a weekly basis, sometimes twice a week. And every time I pick up a phone to call somebody, I'm told, oh, they are in a meeting. Which meeting is this? Oh, the retirement meeting. And this has been, and by the way, they don't tell me, it has been blindfolded all that time. But this is something that you cannot force people to appreciate you. And how wonderful it is that people came willingly and worked very hard to make this event happen. I really hope that as many as we are here today, we are going to create an environment where we are going to be thanking people wherever we are. Let's develop that culture. And I it is amazing that this is happening in Kenya, where, as we are talking today, there are 10 universities without a vice chancellor. 10 universities. Because there are court cases to prevent them from having vice chancellors. So they are having acting vice chancellors. For me, Dr. Bebe, you have been with me for the whole month. Have we ever fought one day? In the beginning, people were wondering, are we having two heads, this side and this other side? Now, we are two on the same campus, but one vice chancellor at a time. And it can only be done if the leadership you are really managing, you know that you are doing God's will. That's the only reason why there can be peace. And I hope that we have this, and I told even students and faculty of African Nazarene University, I hope what begins here transforms the world. And what has begun here, as Bishop Lawi was saying, there's no, the other universities, especially private universities, have not done this. So I hope that what we have started here will transform the handing over of administration, because you are just doing whatever you're doing. It is for a season. And as you move on, you need to make sure that the foundation you have left is stable enough to continue being built, not to destroy what has been built, or even to make life so difficult that whoever comes does not even want to see anything related to what you did. That is, I hope that we are learning that. And I really thank God for wonderful people He has given me, all the way from our Chancellor, brother, when you were a Commissioner of Education, you took us all over the world, also mentoring people, as General Superintendent has said. And for those of you who are hearing General Superintendent of the Church of the Nazarene, it is like you are hearing the Pope. Except Nazarene have how many? 6. 6 popes, but they work together. So it is the highest office, and I'm sure you are the youngest, aren't you? God bless you. You are there because you obey God. Again, I have never lost sleep because my chairman is disappointed with me, or because we have quarreled with my chairman. I have never lost sleep because the council members, and those of you who are council members here, can you please stand up? I want to thank you, because you have always come in support of what we are doing, not to come and find what we have not done wrong. And also, before my 2 sisters there came, who are also both the lawyers, can you stand up, my sisters? Yes. All three of these are my sisters and their lawyers, but I'm talking about the two in the council. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I know you did not know there was another one behind you. But before they came, for many years, I was the only female voice in that council and trustees. And many times I never remembered I was a woman. Because I was never made to feel that I'm a woman. Whatever I said, whatever I asked for, it was respected, and I was supported. They were there to work as a team, and I want to thank them. The university community that are here, I know we did our function on Thursday, but I would like for you to stand, those of you who are here. They are wonderful, wonderful support. Again, this gentleman here called Professor Reed. Can you stand up? Professor Reed has been really, truly a pillar. He has been there all the way from the time we were attending the charter, the inspections, and everything. And he has always said that his special role at ANU is to introduce his boss. Now, here is Professor Reed. He would be calling me analog. And truly, you would call me analog. But I never felt that I was analog. I felt like I was even more beyond .com. Thank you, Professor Reed. He would be threatened to be bossed around by analog and a woman. You never felt that way. Thank you so very much. Partly it's because Professor Reed, other than being a professor, he is also a pastor at heart. Again, we are seeing God's actions at work. When people obey God and they know they are doing whatever they are doing in the will to fulfill God's will, we find peace. We find joy, we find love, and this is what African Nazarene University has been all about. I know that in my earlier years, before I retired from Kenyatta University, I have this generation here. Can you stand up again so that I can feel good? This generation here, what they did not tell you, Professor Mugenda, you did not tell them that you were my student and your son was my student. Thank you very much. Professor Mugenda's son is our alumni. And when she was even vice chancellor of Kenyatta University, she brought her son to me. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Now, the people who are employed by African Nazarene University, product of African Nazarene University. Can you please stand up? As you can see, we have researchers and our finance director is our own product. We actually trust our own to manage our finances. And we even have doctors who are right here with us. So, yes, I hope you are not afraid of helping other people rise up. When I was at Kenyatta University, when I was with professors here, and you saw all of them are professors, when that time they were saying it is hard even to have a PhD, let alone becoming a professor. And when I worked very hard to develop these people, I was told you're working yourself out of the job. And it is true I did, because I'm not there now. But Professor Mugenda, can you again stand up? Because Professor Mugenda, if I stayed, yes. Yeah, you stay right here. If I stayed at Kenyatta University, Kenya would not be having a referral hospital today. So I worked myself out of the job so that you can develop Kenyatta University the way you did, including international referral hospital. And also bringing your child to me. God bless you. Thank you very much. So now, actually, I did have a slideshow to show, but now I don't think so. It's 11 o'clock, it's unfortunate, but maybe we can show just very quick when we talk about go where there is no road and leave a trail. When Dr. Lambert came to pick us up, to get us from Point Loma, where my husband was sharing a birthday with the president of university, who my husband came this way, and for him, he became the general superintendent of the Church of the Nazarene. We came so that we can go, there was no path. And I pleaded with you, those of you who are here today, I said that if you have to leave African Nazarene University because I have left, it is not for you to go to greener pastures, because there are no other greener pastures other than African Nazarene University. Where are you going to find somebody to celebrate you when you retire? So stick there until you retire, and then you get the celebration. Now also, I said also, unless you go from there and go to wear jeans, not the suits. You are free to wear jeans and go to develop elsewhere, but not to go to look for greener pastures than that. Support Dr. Bebe the same way you have given me that support. All of us here, I want to encourage you that. We must learn a different type of leadership in Africa. Africa is bleeding because we have refused to follow the teachings of Jesus. we can never develop until we know how to uphold one another, how to make another person feel better than what we found. So let us uphold God's love and God's commandments, and God will extend our lives. Let's just see very quickly. Where is the computer? Maybe I can.
It's there. It's on the screen now.
I like to manage it.
Just a second, I bring the cable.
Yeah. Oh, it can't do it without a cable. Say it again. Oh, I'm actually betraying myself.
Okay, it has to go the other side.
Okay, so this. Where? Okay. How do I do it from one place to another?
From one place, you just click here, use these arrows.
Okay. Go to the beginning. Come to the beginning.
Just a second. Just a second.
Okay, there. Okay.
Just give me a second so that. Just after. Here.
Can I bring my
We are good to go.
and
Then you just move to this one, Professor. This one or this one? This is forward. This is backward.
okay.
Okay.
Yes, I'll just show you this journey that Dr. Lambert came to pick us up from Poiloma, which is on the shore of Atlantic Ocean, to now come to African Nazarene University. And before that, Olivet had a lot to do with African Nazarene University. Olivet Nazarene University had a lot to do with African Nazarene University. There you see, before we got our independence, for reasons known to the people of Olivet, we were there doing Red Cross work, and me helping with my nursing background that I had. I was helping the Red Cross to collect blood from Olivet students. And here, they kind of thought it was funny, I mean, interesting, and they took me a picture, put it on the newspapers, and said, Olivet student seeking ways to better her native country. The reason why you are hearing native is because those days we were natives. We were not, you talk about today, citizens. Those are the days we were natives because we were colonized. So, yes. And this, I believe, it was not by accident that I would go to Olivet in 1960 so that I can help my native country. It was God's plan. So many times we fail to fulfill God's plan. Now, if it is God's plan, then do you think when Dr. Lambert came to pick us up from wonderful roads of America to come in a place like this, was it God's plan? Ask yourselves many times when you hear God is calling you, is he only calling you to the proper places where you are going to be getting red carpets every day, and who is going to be doing that? So that is the road that we traveled, and as you can see, sometimes even the road will get very, very difficult to pass through, and that was the time that Engineer Erastus Mwongera was Minister of Roads. He actually worked very hard. You see on top over here, he built a road for us, but that road did not last very long, and built a bridge for us. The bottom part is where we were passing through, and anytime your car can be passed, can really be swept by very fast-moving water. And so that is the university bus, but much later on. As you can see, this is now African Nazarene University Road. I drove there 1 week, and my new car, the battery came off. And when I go home, and it is automatic car, my right leg, I can't even lift it up. So my husband would bring me every morning in a pickup and come to pick me up every evening to take me home. Until we bought an accident car, which was a Pajero. I drove that Pajero until my board members told me, you are embarrassing us, buy another car. And by the way, all those 21 years, I have only had one new car. But I have done my work. Anyway, this is university, as you can see. That is where the university was about. So those of you who are left behind now, I don't know what you're going to run away from. Okay, this is University Road. As you can see university way ahead there. Then I found 5 people who could be collecting the stones and make a road for me to go in the morning, and make another road for me to get out of the university. And then, when it became so bad, we bought 2 acres of land, and it has title deed to make our own road. But then who would be the engineer, because we did not have money to employ somebody? My husband, who was a geneticist, became a road engineer. And as you can see now, he is. And this is what I told you, unless you go wearing jeans, look what he's wearing. He left America to come and wear jeans. And by the way, he said that Point Loma was his academic desert, so he did not go back to teach, but he would come to dig the road for university. He dug that road. And by the way, you see here, he is holding a stick. It's not that he could not walk, but because there were so many snakes around here to go, in case the snake comes, he has to kill it. And as you can see, this was being dug behind the library, because again also, we did not have money to go get Mara very far. behind the library, and he had a cousin who was in Ministry of Roads and Training Center who loaned us the machines, and we paid them from the money that some Poiloma people had come to visit us. That's how we managed to get that road. He could even build a bridge. And by the way, these clothes you saw in the evening, I was Mrs. Marangu to take care of the clothes. Now here is the road. And the council said it should be called John Marangu Boulevard. Now you know why. And then all those trees over there, we were building the road and also planting trees at the same time. And then this road, we said that we are going to charge it. How much did we charge, John? How much? Okay. All the neighbors who passed through this road paid 6,000 every month. And then Mr. Wanjoy asked me, now, are we going to charge the neighbors? I said, well, they can go through the other road. So, because I knew it needed repair. But then, all this is John Marangu Boulevard. Later on, we realized that we needed to be nice to the community, and we decided to do fundraising. And this is Professor Reed praying for the fundraising. And here is, we had to look for Professor Saitoti, who was our member of parliament and the vice president for this country. He came to fundraise for us. And of course, my family was still behind. And here is John Opio there, watching that basket like a hound, taking care of the money. And if you ask why John is the finance director, you can see how he started. So you start from the bottom. Okay. Now, this is now the road that Engineer Mongera built for us. But that money, actually, when I took to the government told me, you know, we cannot mix the private money to build public road. So we use that money to build the community policing, the police station you see there. It's from that money. So now, you hear the dream. And this dream of African Nazarene University, you only remember it, hearing it was 1994. It took the gestation period for it to become, from dream to reality, was almost 10 months. There was 10 months of work, of canvassing, for doing everything. And here is the university now. That is when it was a dream. And Hammond, we were set to go look for land. We found the land where the Commission for University Education, at the foot of there is a big field there that is not even built even today. That's where my husband and I and Mr. Dangata, we went and found that land, about 20 acres. But then Hammond went and found 70 acres to buy here at the same amount of money we would have spent on the other side. And today, if you ask me whether Hammond did the right thing, I say yes. God led him. But here is the dream. Could you ever figure out that is going to be a university? That is a university dream. And of course, later on, we have, as you can see, it will develop. We developed together with animals and all that. And then there was just one building there, and you can just see the way the campus was then. This stones you see around. Professor Kaimenyi will remember, will relate to it if I say that university students use stones to do something else other than being constructive things. But when I went there, we looked for, together with our students, I told them, the stones are God's resources. We must use them effectively. So we gathered all the stones, we put them so that we can have paths to walk, and you can see this grass and everything, and we even painted them white to look good, to make them attractive. So, and as you can see, this is the building there, Dr. Chambo, is where we host you guys. That's how it was. But we had some work and witness teams come and help us to finish it. As you can see, this is the early days, and this is all the workshop. And you can see some of the lumber there. I'll tell you how we used it. Then we start slowly fixing it. And this is the campus in 1991. And this is the campus, part of the campus now. You can see all of it. This is Dr. Zana with two of our former students who are now missionaries in the Church of the Nazarene. And there, that is just the faculty that we had that time. And as you can see, we are walking around the grass and the clock tower there. You see how it will look like later on. The lady in front there with the decorated outfit, I'll tell you who she is later on. Just mark her. And that Dr. Esostin and I, we were just everything. Sometimes Dr. Esostin, I don't want to explain too much because the CEO of CUE is here today. So I'll not tell you more. Anyway, that's our students, our first students, graduation and graduating students. And we went around the clock there. As you can see, now, this is now how that clock looked like. This is why we gathered around that clock. Then, the first graduates, and later on, that's how the area looked like. Again, Dr. Esostin, and I'll move fast, but these are some of our graduates there. I think you can see some of the faces there. And again, also, Professor Reed. Anyway, he was preaching to us. He was preaching to us, and this chapel there was supposed to be the only, the biggest chapel, to hold service there. I was admonished that I should not pass 200 students. And then I asked, now, did I come all the way from America to go through all these muddy places to just develop only 200 students? They came back, they found 350. Now I broke the glass ceiling. And we appreciate the missionaries who have been with us. And you see some faces there. The chapel, the old chapel. And we depend a lot on prayers. Now, this is a group that came from Poiloma, which whose money was used to make that road. And the relationship between Poinoma and us is that the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic was schoolmate with my husband, and so he invited him to be at Poinoma at a certain point to work there. And you can see we are paving the road. Now this time, we have taken the stones and we crushed them. So this way we don't have to be stepping on the black cotton soil. So now what you are seeing there is the crushed stones, and some of them are paved on the sides. This is an old tractor that is still there. We still use it. And as you can see, it is, these are Poinoma students. And some of the people are here today. And you see, now those crushed stones, the most difficult thing with those crushed stones is that you could wear a shoe today, and by the time you go home, it is all pricked. And I threw a lot of shoes away until I saved one pair, which now they decided to make something out of it. And these are our students then. And this is now, I think we still have Mrs. Mwenda there. She was, can you stand up? You can see her directing us. She's still there. We were honoring Dr. Hellstrom. Now, I told you that you remember the scraps of materials that we had. We collected all these scraps of materials when we became larger and there was no dining hall. This was our dining hall. I know it will not fit the commission's standards, but we had to do that. But I'll show you also. Just wait. But the thing I said is that it has to be beautiful. This is why it is painted at jagged, like shark's teeth. Okay, there it is. And I think you know these folks here. And some more. Now we are honoring Mrs. Hellstrom, who was very wonderful support, together with her husband, of university. And our first graduation ceremony, we went all out to even invite the president of Olivet Nazarene University to come and step on the grass, together with Dr. Mark Moore. And we were so proud we graduated only 27 students, and we were very proud to even call international. You really have to believe in whatever you are doing and knowing that you'll get there. These are our students. As you can see, this is where we came from. This is the charter, when we attained the charter. Oops. That is Dr. Mark Moore, who worked, these three people worked on the curriculum. Dr. Mark Moore and Dr. Esselstyn and John. And then we have the founding trustees there, late Dr. Kimboi, Mr. Muduri, and Mr. Isaac Mugambi there. And here we have Dr. Chambo and his wife, and this is, yes. And then, I think here, you can see the relationship that I am talking about. Our late Dr. Kimboi our Dr. Chambu and Mrs. Kimboi and our John here. Now, by the way, Mrs. Kimboi and a lady called Florence Imadio here, we were classmates. Now, I know I've heard people refer to our sister universities, like Dr. Reed could say, oh, Ludwig Center. I think if I say Ludwig Center, you know the cafeteria of Olivet Nazarene University. Now, here is Dr. Bowling sitting on our cafeteria that we created. And I knew there was Ludwig Center, but so proudly. And then the person in the blue is Dr. David Strawn, who was my husband's schoolmate and was vice president for academics, and he is wearing jeans to come and help us to create that road. Now, the lady I told you, mark her, is a graduate of Olivet, and she is now handing Dr. Bowling a gift. Her name is Professor Margaret Mwenda, who developed our university business school, and now she's a vice president in the US. And here we are with Mrs. Bowling and Mark Moore, those early days. And now if you see the ceiling there, it is so short because that's how far. Oh, did I say short? And we have a commissioner, you did not hear that. Okay, but we knew it was short. If you see the roof, there, it was really, I think I'll move faster now, but that is still in the same dining. I think you see like Dr. Perry, sorry. Dr. Perry was just about to reach that ceiling. Now, look at that photo. Professor Mwenda, can you stand up? And his wife, the person I told you to mark, is actually Professor Mwenda. Oh, did I call you Professor Mwenda? Professor Tarangwe. And Professor Mwenda is, I don't want to say all of it. But anyway, they were saying hello to Uncle John. They are there. And so I hope when I leave now, these people know you know us. And at another time, you see the familiar face of Ambassador Mudaura. He has been there for many, many years. And those of you who wondered how we got the president of the country to come and grace KYEEI, you know now why. It was through Ambassador Mudaura that we were able to do that. Now, when we expanded, we had to really create a bigger chapel now. I went around and looked for a building at Uhuru Park. Then I called the local trustees, and these were Reverend Gardner, the late Jason Kimboi, Mr. Muduri, and Professor John. Went and looked at it, and then we went, I took them to Serena for a meeting now so we can confirm that this is a building we want to have, because we had to have what we could afford. So we went, and it was ratified, and so we started building it. And then one time, when Bishop Imadio was there one time, he came out, because if you are inside, you will never know it is really a corrugated iron sheet that have built the house. Then, no offense to my Americans who are here, but my bishop here, who is supposed to be my brother-in-law, he came out and said, it's only Americans who can think about this, something like this, so nice like this. Did you hear what he said? He said it's only Americans who can do something like this, very unique like this. Anyway, I remember that bishop. So we had to break groundbreaking so that we can have a place where everybody can fit. And this is groundbreaking with Dr. Hellstrom, Hammond Smersenbach, and Dr. Bowling and I. Then, before they knew it, I had called all the architects and engineers to now start building a building. What we had on hand was 5 million shillings to build a very big house. I don't tell you how many millions, but they obeyed. They just said, yeah, we shall work with you. Then the board asked me, where are you going to get the money from? And I think somebody said, by faith. And I told those people, I don't have anything other than faith that God will bless this project. And God did bless the project, because that is the project you see up there. And these are founding trustees again. Oh, now this is Mark Moore, Florence Muduri, and Mr. Muduri there. Those days, I think we are repeating ourselves now. Now, here, Dr. Vale, he came together with his son, wonderful physicist and mathematician. And his son was so disappointed with me when I said, Dr. Vero will have to repair our generator. And if I had not known them from Olivet, I would not have managed to do that. Dr. Vero wore an overcoat. By the time he left, it was all smeared with tar and everything else. And he repaired the generators. We still use them today. And that is the time we had big drought. Had we not had those generators, our computer science would not have operated. Oh, this picture there, that photo reminds me of one day, because we would go to government offices, and then afterwards we would go to tell Hammond and Beverly what has transpired. And I remember one day, we went there, and we found that they have just put food on the, soup and sandwich on the table. And then just the African they were, because Hammond was born in Swaziland. He said, well, Leah and John, all we have to do is to add water. And they put back their soup on the pot. They added water, and we had lunch, because other than that, we had to go all the way to Kenyatta University again. So we shared the bread, and we shared the soup. And this is how this university dream came to happen. I think you see now we are beginning to get closer to the university. Now, this is now the Hellstrom Student Center, which was started with only 5 million shillings on hand. This young lady here, maybe I shouldn't say it since I've shown you the face. Anyway, now you are seeing there. I'll just move fast now. But you are seeing really, this is a board member. Can you imagine board member? These days, board members fight with the administration. This is the kind of board members we have. This picture here, after Mark Moore left, Dr. R. Jones was left holding to the documents that were put in place until that time, because even Mark Moore left, and we also went back to the States. And we thank God that he was a man of God who accepted that responsibility until the university was given a charter. I think you have seen these ones before. Now, when we were taking these pictures, we did not know, we had no idea. This picture was taken about 3 years ago or 2. So it's not that we were posing because now he is going to be the next vice chancellor. But it is a wonderful family. Now, after this, then what? You have been seeing what is there to be done. Is there any more challenge for African Nazarene University? Yes. What I'm handing over, apart from anything else, is like this one here, is the proposed African Nazarene University Sports and Wellness Center. We hope someday we'll build that. And then the proposed library, and then the proposed swimming pool, and then the one that they told you they are going to do that, and then and then we also are looking for proposed men's hostels, because we have women's hostel. And thank you very much.